Yes, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question for Geography 2018. Question number 1. Now we're going to use this sketch to solve for question 1 and 2. So for number 1, if the total population of the city is 500,000, what is the population of Ward 4? You can see this is Ward 1. It has 108 degrees. This is Ward 2, 126 degrees. Ward 3, 72 degrees. Ward 4, 54 degrees. So having this distribution, what is the population of Ward 4? This is Ward 4 here. So take note, these are in degrees. This is 54 degrees, 108 degrees, 72 degrees, and 127 degrees. Now, for us to be able to solve this, we need to know that the summation of the degrees should be 360. So for Ward 1 we have 108, Ward 2 we have 126, Ward 3 we have 72, Ward 4 we have 54. So it's an important fact to know that the summation of the degree is always 360. This is 8 plus 6 should give us 14, 14 plus 2, 16, 16 plus 4 will give us 20. So we put 0, carry 2, put the 2 here, have 2 plus 4, 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 7, 11, 11 plus 5, 16. So we have 6, carry 1, put it here, it becomes 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So the summation of these degrees must always be equal to 360. Now, so if you want to get the population on any of them, you just take the degree of that, or the angle is subtended. So let's say we are told to calculate the population of Ward 4. Ward 4. So check Ward 4 here has how many degrees? 54 degrees. So pick out that the degrees of that ward I want to calculate, 54, all over the summation of the degrees, which is 360. Then we'll multiply the division by the total number of the population, which is 500,000. So anything we get is the answer. So we'll do this calculation, 54 over 360 times 500,000. So you can cancel these two zeros, then you can quickly do the calculation to get the right answer. So actually, when you do 54 times 50000, what you get is 2,700, and you divide it by 36, you get the right population, which is 75,000. So the right answer when you do this division is 75,000, and that is the answer to this. And you can see this is option A, 75,000. So take note of what we did. We just picked out the degree for the one we are told to calculate, which is Ward 4, divided by the summation of all the degrees, which is 360 times the total population. You get that of Ward 4. If you are told to calculate for Ward 2, the same thing, you would have been 126 over 360 times 500,000. If you are told to calculate for Ward 1, it would have been 108 over 360 times 100,000. So that's how you do calculation relating to pie charts. Thank you. Yes, welcome. Let's look at this question number 2 for Jamb past question Geography 2018. We are using this diagram to answer this question number 2. An alternative graphic method that can be used to depict the same information is the A. Divided rectangle, B. Choropleth, C. Dotman, D. Proportion circle, E. Histogram. Now, if you are given a chart, you know that basically you can actually depict a chart by either using the pie chart. You can also have the bar chart. You can also have the histogram. So these are the ways you can use to depict or represent data or information in a graphical way. So, but we also have other ways by using color progression and other things like the choropleth. The actual spelling should have been E here. So you can also use other ways, but the basic ways are by pie chart, bar chart, histogram. Those are the basic ways. So as an alternative to this is a pie chart, the circular proportional showing of data. The bar chart is in rectangles showing similar information, whereas histogram, we talk about rectangles that are together like this. So the better option here should be histogram. Some people are going to say it's choropleth, but choropleth is, let's say you have a chart or graph of Nigeria or the map of Nigeria. Choropleth is actually a thermic map. You have lighter darkness. This is dark, showing higher population density. If it is lighter, it will be lower population density. So it shows how much information or data or the quantity by the painting, by the color painting. So, but I think the right option here should have been histogram, because you can use histogram to depict what you can also use pie chart or bar chart to depict. So depending on where you look at this question from, then you know how you can pick the right answer. But for me, I would think is and I'm picking histogram because of the use of histogram as alternative to bar chart, pie chart in the representation of data graphically. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at these Jamb past questions. Geography 2018. Question number 3. How was the major mountain belts of the world produced? A. By weathering. B. By wind erosion. C. By folding. D. By river deposition. E. By glacier erosion. Now, for us to be able to understand this, in order to put it into perspective, we need to know that the number one option, weathering, has to do with formation of rocks, which also erosion also has to do with movement of soil from the surface of the earth. Then folding is of importance, as we are going to look at what folding is. It is very important in mountain formation. So what is folding? Folding occurs as a result of the earth movement. So the term folding in geography actually occurs as a result of earth movement, which forces rocks to fold in form. So that is actually what happens. So you have the earth surface moving, causing the rocks to fold, and this folding causes the formation of mountain. Now, folding can be caused by large-scale horizontal earth movement. So folding is actually caused by large-scale horizontal earth movement. So this is what causes the folding. Now, stresses could caused by expansion and contraction of some parts of the earth are set up in the earth crust. So such stresses therefore subject the rocks to compressional force. Like I said, when the rocks are compressed because of this horizontal large scale horizontal movement of the earth, there is now folding of this caused by the stress, forming the mountains. Now these compressive forces produce widening of the earth's crust. Folding is widely known to produce a specific type of mountain known as fold mountain. So folding is actually responsible for this very type of mountain known as fold mountain. But folding is also known to have produced most of the mountain belts in the world. So that makes option C the right option and the right answer to these. So major mountain belts of the world are actually caused by folding. D is by river deposition, and E is by glacial erosion. All these are weathering processes, but C is actually what causes mountain formation, and that makes C the correct answer. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018. Question number 4. What is the commodity associated with OPEC? Is it option A, coffee, B, iron and steel, C, vegetable oil, D, mineral oil, E, sugar? Now, for us to understand this and put it into perspective, we need to know what OPEC stands for. OPEC, as we all know, is the acronym. It's an acronym actually. So OPEC is an acronym which stands for Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So that is what OPEC stands for, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Now, as the name implies, it is an organization which has countries that export crude oil, or you can call it petroleum or mineral oil, as its member states. Now, it consists of 14 nations. OPEC consists of 14 nations, and it was founded in 1960. OPEC was founded in 1960 in Baghdad, and we all know where Baghdad is. Baghdad is the capital of Iraq. Its headquarters now is in Vienna, Austria, and we all know that Nigeria is a member of OPEC. So OPEC is actually an acronym for Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and it has 14 countries, and it's founded in 1960 in Baghdad. So from this definition, you can see that the right option is mineral oil. That is the commodity that OPEC is associated with. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018. Question number 5. Which of the following rocks is composed of the skeletons of microscopic sea plants and animals? A, chalk, B, granite, C, sandstone, D, slate, E, clay. Now, in order for us to put this in perspective, we need to know where these various rocks are formed, from where they are formed. Now, we'll take a look at chalk for the first, since chalk is the first. Now, chalk is an example of sedimentary rock. And sedimentary rocks are formed from the accumulation of sediments. That is how you form sedimentary rocks, either by water, ice, or wind. These are agents of movement of the air that cause the accumulation of sediments. Now they occur in layers or strata. Sedimentary rocks occur in layers, and you can also call this layer strata. They are all non-crystalline. Sedimentary rocks are non-crystalline. And they seldom contain fossils. Sedimentary rocks are either mechanically formed or organically formed. So when you're talking about mechanically formed or organically formed, so it's either mechanically formed or organically formed. So in mechanically formed, you talk about moraine, things like moraine and loess, whereas organically formed, you talk about rocks like coal, peat, or chemically formed as well. You can also have chemically formed, where you talk about potash and gypsum. Now, chalk is formed from remains of plants and animals, as well as coral. Chalk in particular is formed from remains of plants and animals. So that is where you get chalk from. So when you hear skeletons of microscopic sea plants and animals, so you know we are talking about chalk here. So that makes chalk the right answer. Hello, welcome. Let's look at the Jamb past questions, geography 2080. Question number 6. Dodoma is to Tanzania as dash is to Nigeria. A. Abuja. B. Warri. C. Lagos. D. Port Harcourt. E. Ajaokuta. Now, we need to understand what Dodoma is to Tanzania so that we can know these cities, which of these cities in Nigeria is the same thing to Nigeria. Dodoma is the capital of Tanzania. So which of these cities is the capital of Nigeria? We all know that Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. So that makes option A the right answer for this. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. Lagos used to be the capital of Nigeria, but currently Abuja is the capital. Warri is in Delta State, Port Harcourt is in Rivers State, Ajaokuta is in Kogi State. So we have this in Rivers State. Port Harcourt is the capital. Warri is just a city in Delta. Lagos is the former capital of Nigeria. Ajaokuta is a city in Kogi State where we have the Ajaokuta Steel Company. But Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. So that makes Abuja the right answer to this. And we all know where Abuja is located in Nigeria. If we have the map of Nigeria, we have the west, the east, and the north. Then at the middle here we have Abuja, which is the capital city of Nigeria. So that makes option A the real and correct answer to this. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 7. Which of the following hazards would most likely result directly from deforestation? A. Soil erosion. B. Mass wasting. C. Drought. D. Water pollution. E. Flooding. Now, whenever you talk about deforestation, we're talking about when we have trees. This is your land mass. Now you're having your trees. Now by act of industrialization or urbanization, you cut down these trees. When you cut down these trees, there will be lesser. You will now be having empty land mass, so that when rain fall or when there is any agent of erosion, they can easily carry the soil and cause erosion. So soil erosion is the most likely direct result of deforestation. But then you can still have any of these later. You can have flooding, so much flooding because there are nothing to wedge the flow again. You understand? But the most direct effect of deforestation is erosion, because when you cut down all these trees, you have empty space, so that when there is rain or anything that can move soil, then soil can easily be eroded. So that makes option A the right answer to this. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 8. The dominant foreign exchange earner of Senegal is A. Tourism. B. Granite. C. Fish. D. Iron ore. E. Farming. So which of these is the dominant foreign exchange earner for Senegal? Senegal depends mostly on foreign exchange to keep up with its economy. So Senegal depends mostly on foreign exchange for its GDP and other things. Now, in the olden time, it used to be granite. Granite used to be their major source of foreign exchange, but currently it is fishing. So in some textbooks you might see granite, but currently the dominant foreign exchange earner for Senegal is fishing, and that makes option C the right answer. You will see some people saying granite because that used to be their dominant foreign exchange earner, but currently it's fishing actually. So fishing is the dominant earner for them for now. Thank you. Hello, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 9. British foreign investments are concentrated in A. EU countries, B. African unity, C. Developed countries, D. Commonwealth countries. Whenever you hear the word British foreign investments as regards to our country here in Nigeria, you know about the Commonwealth countries. And what are these Commonwealth countries? The Commonwealth is a political association. The Commonwealth is a political association of 53 member states, having 53 member states. Now, nearly all of them are former territories of the British Empire. They are former territories of the British Empire. Now, some of the member nations include Nigeria, Zambia, Rwanda, etc. And the foreign investments of Britain are primarily concentrated on these regions. So that makes option D the right answer, because the British is the head of the Commonwealth and most of their investments are in the Commonwealth region. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 10. The two most important factors which account for the pattern of population distribution in West Africa are A. Economic prosperity and regional. B. Economic prosperity and favorable fiscal conditions. C. Favorable fiscal conditions and human inertia. D. Hospital antecedents and regional migration. Now, when you look at West African nations, you'll find out that there is normally migration. If this is Africa, now you have Nigeria here, you have Benin, Ghana and other ones. This is the West African region. You find out that there is much migration towards where we have favorable economic prosperity and where there is also good weather conditions and other things. So it's most likely that people are going to migrate towards places like Lagos in Nigeria, Abuja, Dakar in Senegal, Accra in Ghana, places where you can be sure that when you get there, there is high probability of having economic prosperity, and places where the fiscal conditions like weather is also good. People run from the Sahara area where there is very bad weather to the areas towards the rainforest region like in Port Harcourt and Lagos, where the fiscal conditions of the weather there is good. So option B is the most likely better option in these options that we have here, and that's why B is the answer. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at the Jamb past questions, Geography 2018, question number 11. A desert country which has a high population density supported by irrigation is A. Nigeria, B. Egypt, C. Sudan, D. Kuwait, E. Namibia. Now, the desert country which has high population density supported by irrigation is Egypt. Actually, Egypt is that desert country with high population density and is supported by irrigation. Now, to get this into context, we need to know that irrigation in Egypt is dependent on the Nile River Nile. Irrigation in Egypt is dependent on the Nile River Nile. Whenever you hear about River Nile, it's the famous river in Egypt, where the water for irrigation is drawn from. Then Egypt is known to be surrounded by deserts. So Egypt is known to be surrounded by deserts. So Egypt is a desert country actually. So it's known to be surrounded by deserts both in the east, west and south, and bordered by the Mediterranean in the north. So in the north it is bordered by the Mediterranean, but in the south, east and west it is bordered by deserts. So it is bordered by the Mediterranean in the north. Now Egypt receives little annual precipitation, so Egypt has very little annual precipitation. You can also call it annual rainfall. Precipitation is another word for rainfall when it includes other things like snow and other things. So hence the Nile is the primary source of fresh water. So we have the River Nile as the primary source of fresh water for Egypt, and the only source of water for agriculture. It is also the only source of water for agriculture, this time around irrigation form of agriculture. Now Egypt has a high population density of about 84 people per kilometer. So Egypt has a very high population density. So we're talking about population density of about 84 people per kilometer squared. So this is quite high population density. So that's what makes option B the right answer for this. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 12. The greatest volcanic regions of Africa are found in A. the Maghreb, B. Kenya and Tanzania, C. the Cameroons, D. Sudan and Ethiopia. Now, for us to be able to put this into context and get the right answer, we need to know that the East African Rift Zone, which comprises a lot of active and dormant volcanoes, predominantly in countries like Kenya and Tanzania. And some of these volcanoes include the Mount Kilimanjaro. There is volcanoes there. You also have the Mount Kenya, Mount Elgon, and the crater highlands of Tanzania. So to put this in perspective, we know that we have the map of Africa with the Horn of Africa, and then we have the West Africa with Nigeria and the rest of them, the South Africa, then we'll talk about the Madagascar. So this is the North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, South Africa. So in this East Africa, where we have Kenya and Tanzania, this is where we have the East African Rift Zone. We have the East African Rift Zone, and it's actually made up of active volcanoes. It's a volcanic region. It's made up of both active and dormant volcanoes. Now, it's mainly in regions of Kenya and Tanzania. Now, some of these volcanoes include mountains that have them, like the Kilimanjaro. We have the Mount Kenya. The Kilimanjaro is a very popular mountain, we know. It's one of the biggest mountains in Africa. We talk about Mount Elgon. Then the crater highlands of talk about the crater highlands of Tanzania. So you see, within this region of East African Rift Zone, we have all these active volcanoes and all the things that we've just mentioned, and that makes option B the right answer for this. Thank you. welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 13. The type of landforms that is associated with large-scale orogeny is A. Fold mountain, B. Residential mountain, C. Block mountain, D. Volcanic mountain, E. Oxbow lake. Now, for us to be able to put this in context and be able to locate the right option as the answer, we need to understand what orogeny is. The term orogeny is an event that leads to both structural deformation and compositional differentiation. So that is what orogeny is, an event that leads to both structural deformation and compositional differentiation. Now, of the Earth's lithosphere at convergent plate margins. In other words, a continental plate crumples and is pushed to form mountain ranges. So we have continental plates crumbling and is pushed to form mountain ranges. It usually results in fold mountain. So orogeny usually results in fold mountains formation, as these are formed as a result of Earth's movement at certain level. We all know that fold mountains are formed due to Earth's movement. Whenever there is pushing of Earth to form mountains, that's how you get fold mountains. You have the Earth moving and folding up, you have fold mountain. So fold mountain is as a result of orogeny, and that's why option A is the right answer for this. Thank you. Hello, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 14. And the time, if the time in New York is New York having the bearing of 75° west is 5 p.m. The time in Nigeria with 15° east will be, is it A, 9 p.m., B, 9 a.m., C, 11 p.m., D, 11 a.m., E, 1 p.m. Now, for us to be able to put this in perspective, we need to know about longitudes and latitude and location of areas on the globe. So we have New York, which is located 75° west, having the time of 5 p.m. Then we'll have the Greenwich meridian, which is the reference point having 0. And then we have Nigeria having 15 degree east. And that is the information that we can get from what we have here. We have New York 75, New York 75 with time 5 p.m. then Nigeria 15. Now we need to know the time that Nigeria should be. Now whenever you have the directions opposite, like here we have western and we have east here, you need to add up to have the resultant direction. So we're gonna have 75. We're gonna have 75 plus 15 because of the opposite in the direct. This is west, this is east, and that's why we're having 90 degrees. Now we know that 1 degree is equivalent to, whenever one location is passing the other by 1 degree, is actually equivalent to 4 minutes. So if we are having 15 degrees, it's gonna be 15 times 4, which is 60 minutes, which is equivalent to 1 hour. So 15 degrees is actually equivalent to 1 hour. Now we need to find the number of hours between the two locations. Now if 15 degrees is equivalent to 1 hour, then we are considering 90 degrees here. So 90 degrees is going to give us x hours, which we can actually do what, cross multiply, so that we can get what, 90 over 15, which will give us what, 6 hours. So that is the difference between New York and Nigeria. So we can easily say that New York is actually 6 hours ahead of Nigeria. So New York is 6 hours ahead of Nigeria. So in essence, the time in Nigeria is going to be the 5 p.m. that we have plus the 6 hours. So if you add 6 hours to 5 p.m., what are we going to have? We are going to have 11 p.m. So the answer is actually C, 11 p.m. Thank you. Let's look at this question number 15 for Jamb Past Question Geography 2018. One of the leading industrial nations of the world, ranking second in manufacturing output after the USA is A. Germany, B. Britain, C. Japan, D. Russia, E. Italy. Now, to put this in context, when you're talking about the big economies after the USA, we talk about countries like Germany, Japan, Russia, then Britain, and then the list in this is Italy. But when you're being specific, you're talking about manufacturing. Then you talk about Germany should be amongst the number 1 and followed closely by Japan. When you're talking about manufacturing, very, very important. Now when you get to places like Rhineland and Ruhr, as well as the Westphalia industrial belts in Germany, we see a lot of manufacturing industry there. We see steel industries, very robust steel industrial layouts and belts. We'll talk about companies producing vehicles and the rest of them. We know about Mercedes-Benz and other products from there. Then you talk about things in electricals as well as chemical equipment. So all these are hugely produced in Germany. Talk about things like ships and textiles. So all these are very much produced in Germany. Another country that is very high in production is also Japan, but from information from World Manufacturing Industries, we find out that Germany has an edge over others, especially being the next following USA. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 16. An instrument used for setting out right angle in surveying a parcel of land is A. A measuring rod, B. Affliate level, C. A ranging pole, D. theodolite, E. An optical square. Now, with good knowledge of geography, we know that the optical square is actually the instrument used by surveyors in getting what? Right angles. So we actually need the optical square for setting out a right angle. Now, an optical square is used to set out lines at right angles to the main chain line in chain surveying. Now, so whenever you're talking about chain surveying, we talk about the use of optical square to get lines that are at right angles. Whenever you're talking about lines that are at right angles, that's what you use for that. Now, it is used for similar purpose as the cross staff. So it is used for similar purpose as the cross staff, but it is easier to use and to greater accuracy. So this optical square is having a very good accuracy. Now there are two methods of using it. You can use the mirror method and the prism method. So you can actually explore the two methods of using it, which are the mirror method and number two, the prism square method. So these are the two ways of using the optical square. So optical square is the right answer to this, and that's why we're picking it. And you can see more of this when you check chain surveying. Thank you. The lack of access to food in some parts of the world emanates from A. Educational inequality, B. Poor transport system, E. Economic inequality, D. Low development of natural resources, E. Lack of manpower. Now, whenever you hear about lack of access to food, accessibility to food is made possible when there is good road, when there is good transport system. So when there is lack of good road, there will be, when there is poor transport system, you're going to have lack of access to good lack of access to food. Now, poor transport system is an agricultural problem. This is a very big agricultural problem. Poor transport system is an agricultural problem, which brings about lack of access to food. So this agricultural problem causes this lack of access to food. This is prevalent in areas which are not adequately served with good transport network, which is necessary for the distribution of perishable food to consumers. So when you have things like perishable food, you need good transport system for you to get it to the final consumers. So without good transport, there will be lacking of this in such areas. Then this leads to farmers producing what is just enough for themselves and the family. So when there is poor transportation, you find out that farmers will produce
like subsistence farming, which actually means producing for just the family and for themselves. So all this happened due to poor transport system. So when the problem of poor transport system is addressed, lack of access to food will be addressed in some parts of the world. Thank you. Hello, welcome. Let's look at these Jamb past questions. Geography 2018. Question number 18. The oldest system of agriculture in Nigeria, which now survives only in very remote areas, is A. Bush fallowing, B. Mixed farming, C. Shifting cultivation, D. Market gardening, E. Mechanized farming. We all know that the oldest form of farming, when there was this availability of huge amounts of land, is shifting cultivation. Because in shifting cultivation, you have a piece of land, you farm in this piece of land this year. The next year, because you feel that the nutrient level or the manure level here is low, you shift to another land, you farm. In the next season, you shift to another land. We call it what? Shifting cultivation. And you can only do this if you have huge hectares of land of your own. If you're having only this as your land, you cannot move to this other one or move to this other one. You understand? You continue to cultivate in that parcel of land that is yours. But because there is availability of land in the olden days, you look at this oldest system of agriculture, then you can migrate or you can shift from one place to the other, and we'll call this system of farming shifting cultivation. This time around, it can only be seen in very remote areas where they still have land. But as there is development, as development is happening, then there is lesser possibility of having shifting cultivation in the urban areas. So you see this in remote areas now. So the right answer is shifting cultivation, C. Thank you. Geography 2018. Question number 19. Soil conservation can be achieved through A. Monoculture, B. Mechanization, C. Strip cropping, D. Floriculture, E. Market garden. Now, one of the ways of improving or ensuring soil conservation is strip cropping. Strip cropping is one of the major ways that you can use to ensure soil conservation. And what is strip cropping? Strip cropping is when grasses are planted in strips. So strip cropping is simply when grasses are planted in strips or in stripes. Now we have what we call soil binding. Soil binding leguminous crops. These are the types of crops that we use. Soil binding leguminous crops and yearly cereals. Soil binding leguminous crop and yearly cereals. Now you put them at right angles to prevailing wind. So when you put them at right angle to prevailing wind, so that they cannot be carried. Now, the grasses or forages primarily serve as cover crops. So they serve as cover crops to prevent direct contact of elements such as wind and water. So this cover crop prevent things like wind and water. These are agents of erosion. making the soil not to be as good as it should be. So it prevents the elements such as wind and water, direct contact of elements such as wind and water with the soil, which could cause soil erosion. So it prevents soil erosion and thereby conserving the soil. So strip cropping is very important way of soil conservation. Now you have to put it in right angles to wind, so that as wind or water is coming, they will be able to serve as cover crops and prevent them from carrying the soil and causing erosion. So it's a very nice way of soil conservation. Mechanization is just normal thing. You cannot use it to achieve soil conservation. You can easily use it to achieve more productivity. You can use mechanization for more productivity. Multiculture planting of monoculture planting in one form of crop, then floriculture about flowers and market gardening. So if you look at all these words, you see that strip cropping is the one that closely serves for soil conservation, and that's why C is the right answer. Thank you. Number 20. If the distance between two places on a map is 2 cm, while the distance on land is 4 km kilometers, the scale of the map is A 1:100,000, B 1:200,000, C 1:50,000, D 1:150,000, E 1:250,000. Now for us to put this in context, we all know that in geography, when you are doing map reading, you have the actual distance on land as against the distance on paper, and that's when you talk about the scale of the map. So having this in mind, we can solve this by saying distance on map equal to 2 cm. Now distance on land equal to 4 kilometers, 4 km. Now we have 2 cm, we have 2 cm on map to give us 4 kilometers on land. So anywhere you have 2 cm on map is actually 4 kilometers on the land. Now, but we all know that 4 kilometers is the same thing as saying 400,000 cm. So in essence, we are actually having 2 cm on map as against, instead of 4 kilometers, we are now having 400,000 cm on land. You see that we are trying to bring cm to be cm on both sides. Now if we now say that 2 cm on map gives us 400,000 cm on land, that means 1 cm on map will give us how many on land? It will give us x. So making x the subject of the formula, we can cross multiply so that we can have 400,000 all over 2. That's 400,000 times 1 all over 2, which will give us what? 200,000 cm. So in that case, we have 1 cm on land will always give us how many? 200,000 cm on the land. That means we're having a scale of 1:200,000, and that makes option B the right answer, and that is our answer. Thank you. God bless. Look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 21. Study the table below which shows the mean climatic conditions of station Q and answer questions 21 and 22. So this is the table showing the months and the temperatures as well as precipitations. the temperatures in degrees Celsius, and the precipitations in millimeter. Precipitation can also be called rainfall, and in some places it could be snow. Now, question 22 goes, the annual temperature, question 21, please, this is 21. The annual temperature range at the station is A, 20 degrees Celsius, B, 30 degrees Celsius, C, 40 degrees Celsius, D, 10 degrees Celsius, E, 50 degrees Celsius. Now, for us to be able to understand this, we need to be focused on the parameter that is being calculated. If you look at this, we are talking about annual temperature, so we are considering this in the table, temperature, and you are told to calculate the annual temperature range. That is this is the months that are being considered from month J to month D. So what is the range? Range simply means highest minus lowest. That is what range is. Highest minus lowest. Now if you are talking about the temperature range in this time around, temperature range, you're talking about highest temperature minus lowest temperature. So in this case, what is the highest temperature here? The highest, you look at all these, you are going to see that the highest here is 19 degrees Celsius. This is the highest. So you have 19 degrees Celsius minus the lowest. What is the lowest? The lowest here is minus 11. So it's going to be minus 11 degrees Celsius. And when you have minus, you call it what? Plus. So we have 19 plus 11, which gives us 30 degrees Celsius, and that makes option B the right answer to this. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 22. Study the table below, which shows the mean climatic condition of station Q, and answer question 21 and 22. Now this is the table, and the question goes, what type of climate has the station? A, cool temperate, B, warm temperate, C, Mediterranean, D, cold temperature, E, equatorial grassland. Now if you look at classification of climate, if you look at classification of climate in the textbook, you're going to find out that the cold temperate climate is characterized with low temperature. That's temperature in the coldest month of below minus 3 degrees Celsius. And you can see that we have lots of below minus 3, like minus 8, minus 9, minus 11. So we have such temperatures for cold temperate. Now the average warmest temperature is about 10 degrees Celsius. So this cold temperature has several cold months with snow and cold. So considering all these, we can simply say that this falls in cold temperate, and that's why we pick option A as the answer, considering minus 11, minus 9, minus 8, which are characteristics of cold temperate climate. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 23. Which of the following countries has the least potential for the production of steel? A, India, B, Cuba, C, Japan, D, Germany, E, Mexico. Now, for us to get this in perspective from the data available on steel production, it's very, very important that we know that the following countries: India, Japan, Germany, and Mexico are all rank among the world steel production countries. All of them rank among the world steel production countries. This is from Wikipedia. We can get this. So all of them rank among the globally world recognized steel production companies. So from this you can find out that this India is here, Japan is here, Germany is here, Mexico is here. The only country left there is Cuba, and that is why Cuba is the answer. Cuba has the least potential. This is because Cuba is not globally known for steel production. So Cuba is the right answer for this, and that is the answer. Thank you. Yes, let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 24. In which of the following countries is cotton growing under irrigation the mainstay of agricultural economy? A. Zimbabwe, B. Uganda, C. Mali, D. Ghana, E. Sudan. Now, to put this in context, we need to first of all be aware of the fact that cotton is the major cash crop in Sudan. Cotton is the major cash crop in Sudan. Now, its production is supported by Gazira scheme, one of the largest irrigation projects in the world. So when you get to Sudan, you're going to find out that there is a scheme known as Gazira scheme. This Gazira scheme is actually one of the largest irrigation projects in the world. Now, the scheme was begun by the British while the area was governed as part of the Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. Now, water from the Blue Nile. So the irrigation project actually gets its water from the Blue Nile. So water from the Blue Nile is distributed through canals. So this water flows through canals. And this is to tenant farms lying between the Blue Canal and the White Nile rivers. So this is actually a very big project, irrigation project, and cotton is a major cash crop in Sudan, and that makes options E the right answer for this. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 25. A broad-based population pyramid is composed mainly of A. Active inhabitants, B. Old dependents, C. Young dependents, D. More females than males, E. More males than females. Now, to get this into perspective, we need to know what broad-based population pyramid is. Now, what is a broad-based population pyramid, or in other words, a young population pyramid? Now, if we are looking at this young population pyramid, it's a graphical illustration that shows the distribution of various age groups in a population. That is what a population pyramid is. It actually shows a population pyramid shows the graphical illustration of the distribution of various age groups in a population. Now, typically of the one we are looking at, typically that of a country. So it could show of a country. It could also show the age distribution of a region of the world. Now this forms the shape of a pyramid. It forms the shape of a pyramid. So this graphical illustration actually forms the shape of a pyramid when the population is growing. When the population is growing. Now, a broad or expansive pyramid in this case is one that is very wide at younger age. So if you're talking about a broad base as is given in the question, it has the young people in this very wide area of the pyramid. So we have the younger ages here, which is a characteristic of countries with high birth rates. So you can see things like this for countries with very high birth rates. So countries with high birth rates, they normally exhibit this, and low life expectancy. Hence, the number of young dependents, which are children, are more due to the fact that the population is fast growing. So you can say that this is actually for young dependent, and that makes option E the answer to this, because there are more young people, and you know that young people are dependent. They are dependent on their parents for food, for shelter, and most things. So that's why you see this phrase, young dependent. So whenever you talk about broad-based population, talking about pyramid of this nature with younger ones at this place, you have younger ones growing very fast, ensuring young population, and that makes option C the right answer. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 26. Flute's basic lava flow is likely to give rise to a volcanic: A. Cinder, B. Saddle Reef, C. Dome, D. Gap, E. Shield. So this is actually flow. Flute's basic lava flow is likely to give rise to a volcanic what? So what does fluid of basic lava flow give rise to? Is it cinder? Is it saddle reef? Is it dome? Is it gap? Is it shield? Now, the right answer for this is shield. So why is shield the answer? It is the answer because a shield volcano is a volcano usually composed almost entirely of fluid lava flows. So it is usually composed of fluid lava flows, and that is why I call like I said, this is F. This is flute or basic lava flow. So this is flow. So that is what a shield volcano is. A shield volcano is a volcano usually composed almost entirely of fluid lava flow. Now, it is named for its low profile, resembling a warrior's shield. So a shield volcano resembles a warrior shield. You know warriors. So the shield they use when they go to war, this shield volcano resembles it. That's why it is called shield volcano. So it resembles a warrior shield lying on the ground. So, and that is why we call it shield volcano, because the volcano resembles a warrior shield lying on the ground. Now, this is caused by the fluid lava traveling down the volcano, resulting in a steady accumulation of its broad sheets of lava, building up a shield volcano. So that is what happens. So for this to be formed, you need to have the fluid lava traveling down the volcano. So when you have the fluid lava traveling down the volcano, resulting in steady accumulation. This results in steady accumulation. So when this is accumulated, it results in steady accumulation of broad sheets of lava. So when it builds up, it forms a shield that resembles the shield of warriors, and that is why we call it shield volcano, and that is why option E is the right answer for this. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 27. In which of the following rock types is petroleum mainly found? A. Metamorphic, B. Plutonic, C. Igneous, D. Volcanic, E. Sedimentary. Now, from our knowledge in rocks and rocks formation, we know that sedimentary rock is the type of rock that bears petroleum. So sedimentary rocks lie in strata. They actually lie in strata. So we have that sedimentary rocks lie in strata with a lot of materials found between the strata. So these strata, or you can call it layers, have materials in between them. And now some of these materials that are in between these stratas or layers, another word for strata is layers, include minerals. They include what? Minerals such as, you can get gold here, you can get diamond, you can get copper, and very importantly, you can get petroleum. So this links this to this, and that makes sedimentary rocks the answer to this problem. Thank you. Hello, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 28. One basic mineral that is common to Sokoto
Ewekoro, Calabar, and Nkalago is A. Gypsum, B. Coal, C. Marble, B. Iron ore, E. Limestone. Now, when you talk about minerals in Nigeria, we are very much aware that whenever you hear the cities like Nkalago and Ewekoro, we know we are talking about limestone. They have large deposits of limestone, which is needed in cement production. There is also limestone in Sokoto as well as Calabar, very huge deposit in Calabar in particular in Nigeria. So whenever you hear about these people, you talk about limestone. Limestone deposits have been discovered in Sokoto along with the host of other minerals. The Nkalago limestone unit is found around the lower Benue Trough. Limestone is also found near Calabar and is one of the largest and purest deposits in Nigeria. So whenever you hear Sokoto together with Ewekoro, Calabar, and Nkalago, you know we are talking about limestone. And that is why option E is the answer to the question, limestone. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 29. Lakes Kivu and Malawi are related in that they A. lie in the northern hemisphere, B. are crater lakes, C. attract a large number of tourists, D. are rift valley lakes, E. artificial in nature. Now, to put this in perspective, we need to know that in this area where we have Malawi and Kivu, Lakes Kivu, that rift valleys lakes are lakes formed as a result of faulting. So whenever we hear about rift valley lakes, which is associated with these lakes Kivu and lakes Malawi, so rift valley lakes are lakes formed as a result of faulting. You understand? So this faulting gives rise to valleys by the sinking of land between two parallel faults. By sinking of land between two parallel faults. So that's how you get a rift valley. And this causes deep, narrow, and elongated. These lakes are deep, narrow, and elongated in nature. So this is what we get in rift valleys. Now, water which accumulates in such deep hollows are usually below sea level. Good examples of such lakes are those found in the East African Rift Valley. So it's in the East African Rift Valley, that's where we have this East African Rift Valley. That is where we get this. That is where we get Lake Malawi, Lake Kivu, and Lake Tanganyika. It's not just these two lakes. You also have Lake Tanganyika. So those are the lakes that we see in the East African Rift Valley. We have the Lake Tanganyika, Lake Kivu, and Lake Malawi. And that is why option D is the right answer for these Rift Valley lakes. All of them are Rift Valley lakes. Thank you.
welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 30. Use the diagram below to answer questions 30 and 31. And this is the sketch showing a landscape landform. Now the feature marked X in the diagram is A. This is the X. This feature marked X is A. A, speed. B, stark. C, beach. D, George. E, cliff. So this feature that is marked S, what landform is it? What geological landform is it? Now this feature S here is actually a stark. And why is it a stark? Because we know that a stark is a geological landform. So a stark is a geological landform consisting of a steep and often vertical column or columns of rock in the sea near a coast. That is what a stark is. Now it is actually formed, a stark is actually formed by wave erosion. Starks are formed over time by wind and water process of the coastal geomorphology. So that is what a stark is. And looking at the landform, looking at it very well, we are going to see that it has the features of a stark. It falls within this definition and shape. When you check through the textbook, you're going to find out that the shape represented in this landform is what stark is also represented as. So we say that a stark is a geological landform consisting of a steep and often vertical column or columns of rocks in the sea near a coast, and it is formed by wave erosion. And that is why option B is the right answer for these. Thank you. Hello, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 31. Use the diagram below to answer questions 30 and 31. We've already done question 30, and this is the landform, and we are considering this point X in this landform. And in question 30, where it was asked what this X stands for, this very part of the landform, we said it is stark. Now this question is asking, the feature is one of the landforms associated with this feature X that we named as stark, and we say that stark is a landform consisting of steep and often vertical column or columns of rock in the sea near a coast formed by wave erosion. That's what we say stark is. Now it's telling us, it's asking us now, the feature of this landform is associated with A, river erosion, B, wind deposition, C, wave erosion, D, river deposition, E, wind deflection. Now the answer is simply from the definition of stark that we gave in the in question 30. We say that stark is formed by wave erosion. So that makes option C the automatic answer, because stark, this point X is a stark, because as you can see that it is you can see the shape it has, it is a steep vertical column, so that makes it a stark. And starks are formed by what? Wave erosion. That is what forms stark. They are formed by wave erosion, and it always happen near a coast, in the sea near a coast.
but still we can also note that a wave is an oscillation of water particles. That is what a wave is. Oscillation of water particles. A wave is an oscillation of water particles. It is the most important and most powerful agent of marine erosion. So wave is the agent of marine erosion. Agent of marine erosion. So the erosion that happens in the water is mostly caused by waves. The action of wave is an important agent of erosion, transportation and deposition of materials confined to the coast of seas and oceans. The rate of wave erosion depends on the nature of the rocks, the amount of rocks exposed to the sea, and the effects of tides and currents around there. So those are the things that makes this option C the right answer. Wave erosion is responsible for the formation of stack, which is a steep vertical column that is formed in the sea near a coast. Thank you.
Hello, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 32. Use the map below to answer questions 32 and 33. This is the map of Nigeria with some markings on it. This is X, this is Y. The most important minerals found in the area marked X are A. Lead and zinc, B. Tin and columbite, C. Galena and tantalite, D. Iron ore and thorium, E. Crude oil. So to get this in perspective, we need to be aware of the mineral distribution in the country Nigeria. So having this as the map of Nigeria, we know that here we have the west, and here we have the east and the north. This is the north, this is the east, this is the west. We are aware of oil around here, so we have oil around here. Now in this region where we have Nasarawa and Plateau, we know that this region is mostly where we have tin and columbite. That is the region of tin and columbite. And here we can see X is within that region. This is where our X is. So this area, the minerals that are predominant in this area are tin and columbite, and that is why should be the right option as the answer. And this area is the area known as the Plateau, stroke Nasarawa region. So these are the states around this area. The Plateau stroke Nasarawa region in Nigeria, as we all know, is famous for its production of the mineral tin and columbite. So it's famous for the mineral tin and columbite. So this you can find under minerals and power distribution in Nigeria. Mineral and power distribution in Nigeria. That is where you get this, and that's why option B is the right answer for these. If you are talking about crude oil, it would have been around this other region. Thank you. Hello, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 33. Use the map below to answer question 32 and 33. This is the map showing the map of Nigeria with areas around Nasarawa Plateau region as X, areas around Anambra and Enugu as Y, and some other area as Z. Now, the major environmental problems associated with the area marked Y is A. Insect pest, B. gully erosion, C. oil production, D. drought. So here we are supposed to identify the problem. So what problem is this area? This is the area marked Y. You can see Y here. This is Y. So this area in Nigeria, as we all know, if this is the map of Nigeria, we have the west, the east and the north. Now this area in the east is the area having the states of Anambra and Enugu. Now we know that the major problem in Anambra and Enugu is gully erosion. That's the major problem there. If we had picked around here, it would have been oil production. Up here, drought. North is drought. Down south is oil production in the River State area. You understand? So this area marked Y is Anambra and Enugu is normally gully erosion. Now, Enugu is famous for coal, as we all know. However, the method of coal mining leaves the area susceptible to gully erosion. Gully erosion is the removal of salt. What is this gully erosion? It is actually the removal of soil along drainage lines. That is what gully erosion is. The removal of soil along drainage lines by surface water runoff. So when you have the drainage line being drained of east soil due to surface water movement, we have what we call gully erosion. Once started, gullies will continue to be moved by headway erosion and by slumping of the side walls unless steps are taken to stabilize the disturbance. So this area is actually the area of Anambra and Enugu, and the major problem there is gully erosion, and that's why option B is the right answer for this problem. Thank you. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 34. Use the map below to answer questions 32, 33 and 34. This is the map of Nigeria indicating places. This is Plateau Nasarawa region. This is Y. X is Plateau Nasarawa region. Y is Enugu Anambra region. And this is Z, close to Delta, Ondo and down south. So the question goes, the most extensive vegetation type in the area marked Z is the A. mangrove swamp, B. coastal thicket, C. freshwater swamp, D. Guinea savanna, E. rainforest. So what is the area marked as indicated? What is the area marked as indicated? Now we all know that the area around Delta Rivers area, this Z area, is actually the mangrove swamp region. Down this side you also have the rainforest, but the mangrove swamp is the area around rivers Bayelsa and Delta. So that is the area that is indicated as shown. So what is this mangrove swamp all about? Mangrove swamp forest is found north of the Atlantic Ocean. The mangrove swamp forest covers the delta. So this area is delta, and that is what mangrove swamp covers. The delta creeks, very very important. The delta creeks in the delta state and the tidal waters of the coastal areas, that is where we have the mangrove swamp. The waters here are salty. So how do you, it is not fresh water, we have what we call salty water, and it has no natural forest vegetation apart from the presence of water hyacinth, which tends to occupy the surface of the water. So you have a kind of animal, a kind of plant that occupies the surface of the water around here. It is found in places like Calabar, Port Harcourt, Delta, etc. So we're talking about areas like Port Harcourt, talking about areas like Calabar and Delta areas, and that is the area along this side, and that is why we'll pick option A as the right answer. Thank you. Hello, welcome. Let's look at this Jamb past question, Geography 2018, question number 35. Along which latitude will the daytime be longest on Christmas Day? A. 0 degrees, B. 45 degrees south, C. 45 degrees north, D. 30 degrees north, E. 30 degrees south. So along which latitude are you going to have daytime the longest on Christmas Day? Now, the period which involves having different lengths of day and night is known as the solstice. Those periods are known as the solstice. If you're having different lengths of days and nights. Now, it occurs when the sun is vertically. Whenever you have the sun vertically overhead are the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. So whenever you have the sun vertically overhead are the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. That's when we have this, and that is always at 23.5 degrees north for the Cancer, and for the Capricorn 23.5 degrees south. Now, the winter solstice, which has longer days and shorter nights, occurs usually around December 22. Around December 22. That is Christmas Day, around Christmas Day. And it occurs at the latitude of 23.5. This latitude, 23.5 south. And other latitudes close to the tropics of Capricorn. Other latitude close should be latitudes that are very close to 23.5, and from here we can see that 30 degrees south is very close, and that makes this option the answer to the question. So in the option we have 30 degrees, very close, so it's actually occurring here, but it can also happen very close to 23.5, which is 30 degrees south, and that makes option E the right answer to this. So we're talking about solstice, and this solstice could be winter when it's happening around the Capricorn or around the Cancer area. So Capricorn is 23.5 degrees south, Cancer is 23.5 degrees north. So if you're talking about what happens around December 22, so you know you're talking about the south. So other latitude close to 23.5 south is 30 degrees south. So that makes option E the right answer to the problem. Thank you.